Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tuesday, October 13th. A little bit of a pullback in the market today. No big deal. There is some new data that I'm keeping an eye on. Nothing to report in terms of any trend change at this point, but I'll keep you posted. So this blog, Zerohedge, I know many of you are familiar with this blog. Another crazy post they put up today attacking MMT. Now you have to understand this blog is one of these Austrian economics, hard money, gold bug. You know, they're printing money all the time. So the blog and its editorial view, if you want to call it that, it's constantly wrong. And they love criticizing and attacking MMT, but they don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what they're talking about. So today they're like, hey, all the MMT people have been saying that loans create deposits. Well, we have proof, evidence now that this is wrong. Okay, the MMT stuff is wrong. So they go on to say, because JP Morgan and Citi released their earnings today, and by the way, their earnings smashed expectations. They were much better. You know, I've been pounding the table on the banks. They're very undervalued. We had a classic trade today. I mean, this is what I call hyper short-termism. I know this from my days as a floor trader. You know, the JP Morgan and Citi stocks were up early and then they reversed down. Why is that? I mean, all these headline traders, they jump in, they buy it. If it doesn't go right up, they bail out. So, I mean, they just give their money away. I mean, I'm a buyer of these stocks. Anyway, that's a separate issue. So the article talks about, hey, these MMT people, they've been saying that loans create deposits and not the other way around. That first you have to have deposits and the banks lend them out. That's wrong, okay? The loans create the deposits. When the bank makes a loan, you get a deposit in your checking account, or it creates a new checking account with a deposit in it. But as so-called evidence or proof of their claim, they say, just look at what happened to JP Morgan's balance sheet in the last quarter, in the third quarter. All right? They said deposits went up by, I think they said 44%. Like, it was an enormous increase in deposits, but loans were flat. So they said, hey, if loans created deposits and there was no increase in loans, how did you get deposits up 44%? Well, they happened to ignore one particular thing, was the fact that government spending, and we've been in this unprecedented period of government spending, that creates deposits too. I mean, when the government sends out unemployment checks, when the government sends out medical payments, when the government sends out Social Security checks, when the government pays for food stamps, all these things that were increased substantially under the whole stimulus, the COVID, the pandemic stimulus, I mean, that added massively to bank deposits. You get a Social Security check, what do? You put it in your account, your deposits go up. So, like, here's this stupid blog looking at, one very small part of what MMT talks about, loans create deposits, which, by the way, is true, and totally excluding and not mentioning and not realizing and completely ignorant of the fact that we saw a 2 trillion increase in government spending over the record amount that we already had last year. I mean, we ended up the fiscal year with just under 7 trillion of spending. That added massively to bank deposits. There wasn't even a necessity for banks to create credit or loans, because those transfer payments from the government, unemployment payments, Medicare and Medicaid payments, food stamps, all of the stuff that was increased significantly under the coronavirus stimulus bill that was passed, I mean, that added enormously to deposits. They just completely overlooked that. They don't understand that. You know, their entire modus operandi is to attack MMT. You know, like the MMT stuff is wrong. The ridiculous ideas, they say, the ridiculous MMT ideas. That's like saying, you know, the ridiculous idea that humans need water to survive. I mean, that's not an idea. That's a fact. That's a reality. You know, the statement that the ridiculous idea, MMT is just it's just a description of how the monetary system functions. To say it's a ridiculous idea is the same thing as saying it's a ridiculous idea that human beings need water to survive, or that every living thing needs water to survive, at least the kinds of living things that we know on this planet Earth. So, I mean, if you read that blog, you're just getting misinformed. You know, you're getting propagandized. You're getting pumped with dogma and misinformation. For me, personally, and for my subscribers, we love that. I mean, I hope they never change. I hope they never wise up. I hope they never get smart. I hope they continue putting up the kind of garbage that they put up, because, you know, it's really easy for me to take their money. Really easy for me to take their money. So, I mean, people act on this misinformation. They act on the false understandings. And, like, it just creates opportunity, man. I mean, it creates easy opportunity. It's like they're just putting money in my pocket, and I'm happy to take it. I'm happy to take it. So, like, I'm just bringing this information to you. I mean, when I read that thing, a friend of mine sent me the article. I read that thing. I'm like, man, you know, they're really just like, they're missing the whole picture. I mean, they are so hell-bent on attacking MMT. It's like attacking physics. The crazy ideas of physics. I mean, physics is just an explanation of, you know, how matter and energy operate in the universe. So it's like the crazy ideas of physics. No, I mean, it's just a description of how the universe functions. To call it a crazy idea, that itself is a crazy idea. So, I mean, yeah. Government spending massively increased deposits in the banking system. And the interesting thing is there's a relationship between there. When the government is spending like it is, there's less of a need for the non-government to access credit. I mean, they're getting all that cash coming in. And when the government pulls back, the non-government tends to go more in debt to compensate. So when the government reduces its debt, the non-government's debt goes up. And when the government increases its, you know, debt, so-called debt, the non-government's debt goes down. That's why we saw a big pay down in loans and leases, a big pay down in credit card and revolving credit during the pandemic. It was all those checks that the government sent out. Now that stuff's starting to go back up again. All right, everybody, go to my website, pitbulleconomics.com. Sign up for a 30-day free trial of MMT Trader. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.